morning, everybody. There we go. Good morning, everybody. How are we doing? Happy Tuesday. What the hell's going on my phone here? That's weird. Welcome to the show. I got home from work a little late today. That's why we're starting late. And unfortunately, I can't go long today either because I got shit to do. But anyway, I'm glad that you're here. And I didn't get to do my normal routine getting ready for the show today. So there we go. Whoa, what the hell happened? Today I pulled a bunch of news actually from the Discord server, mostly stuff that Gunfox put up because Gunfox, by the way, real quick, before I even do this, I need to do something. Let me click something here very quickly. There it is. Gunfox 61, I'm going to count this as today, even though this isn't counting as today on my list. And Gunfox, thank you for sponsoring the show.
You are the new Streamlabs
even though it was yesterday.
Sponsor
Thank you,
day.
Gunfox 61, who asked last night, well, it was last night. Marty, how was the ranting yesterday? Well, China starts jabbing kids as young as 3 years old. Russia and China hold joint war games in the Pacific. China-India tensions grow as China's new border law, and the 3.5 earthquake rattles Los Angeles. This and more in the Discord. Well, I was in the Discord this morning, by the way. Thank you for sponsoring the show. And just a reminder that
China is asshole.
That's all we need to know. So anyway, good morning and welcome to the show. We'll get it going here in just a minute after, well, let's just play the intro because I don't have an intro. I don't have a pre-intro spiel today. Let's just play the intro. Johnny, get on it.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawgKnight.
All right, shall we stop the music? Stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet, and welcome back to the PDawgKnight Channel. It is Tuesday, the 26th of October, 2021. Just a few short days until Halloween, and the kids, like I said, love my house because a lot of them remember that we hand out good candy bars. Well, actually, we did last year. The year before, I did they had they could get fruit snacks and some other thing that I thought, was pretty good. I thought kids like fruit snacks, and that didn't go over so well. So the last 2 years, that was 2 years ago, I'm sorry. So the last 2 years, we've been doing full-size Snickers bars and bags of M&Ms and all kinds of stuff that, and the kids remembered last year because, boy, did we have a lot of kids come through last year. So I'm excited about Halloween. I always have fun with that. And, so anyway, today is more just kind of a news day because if you don't participate in the Discord server, there's always a ton of news there in the news tab. And so today we're just going to go through just a bunch of stories that are everything today is from the Discord server. I think. Did I pull one up here? I mean, there's a lot of other news, but I'm going to stick to the news from the Discord. So it's just today is a news day, and I suppose I'll have some commentary here and there because some of the stuff just kind of drives you nuts, right? But first, of course, as always, I want to say good morning to everybody because it's nice to have you all here. And I wanted to check real quick. Yeah, we already got 15 people here. 4 likes. Hit the like button while you're thinking about it. Well, you heard me just say that. Hit the like button, and also reminder that you can watch the show on at PDawgKnight.live. It's live there too. You just got to start it up and make sure it's caught up. But there you can still chat, and you can sponsor the show at PDawgKnight.live a couple ways. One, using the up in the upper left hand corner, it'll be right over there if you're watching on the channel on the website. Where you can do the donation thing and know what the alert's going to be, or you could go buy some resist fascism gear. Now, I'm kind of lacking, or should I say slacking, when it comes to merchandise, and I think I'm going to fix that coming soon. So we'll work on that. Maybe I was going to do a Let's Go Brandon gear, but everyone's already doing that, and I'm just trying to think of good stuff. I know the one that I'm going to do. I'm thinking I'm going to put a giant iceberg on a shirt with a giant iceberg that says global warming ever since the Ice Age. That's the one I really want to do. There's a couple others that I've thought of, but that's one of my favorites because that's one of my favorite sayings. It's like people are always talking about, because there was some story. What was it? It was yesterday. It was showing, that all these different counties that recorded record highs last year, which they say it every year as if it never happened before. And they weren't really record highs. But they always talk about how, record highs in the last 100 years, because that's as long as they've been have a reliable recording of weather. So if you're thinking about 100 years, of about 6 billion years or more that the Earth has existed, I don't think we actually know what the proper temperature of the planet is. And this little blip of 100 years is nothing. So anyway, real quick, another thank you. Gunfox61, another donation. Thank you for sponsoring the show again. And now you really are.
You are the new Streamlamp Superstar sponsor of the day.
Of this day. Thank you, Gunfox61. Appreciate you. Who says, with this message, or the donation message, saying, we the ranting being Washington State Representative Warren's just got black check forced jab mandates on all private businesses. Is that what? I'm not okay. Well, and then CDC director unjab public works should be sent for education counseling. Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. How everywhere they should all be sent for education and counseling. That we watched a clip of her saying that yesterday, and that crazy woman, I swear to God, she's insane, and she's a authoritarian, insane person who really, just this is not how you do public health. But anyway, thank you again to Gunfox61. All right, let's say good morning to everybody. First in the chat today was Somnambule Nation. Yay! Thank you for being here today. Also, good morning, Mike Savage, Blarg. Also, good morning, Jesse Leon. Let's go, Brandon, a.k.a. Renee Mayette. Good morning, Selecta Boy.
Yeah, boy.
Hello to Keenan and to Kessler. Wait, no sound. Oh, that was when, I didn't turn the music on yet. But you can hear me now, right? Also, good morning to Lord Stanhope and Attack Alpacas in the house. Zach Osborne, Advocatus Diaboli, the Devil's Advocate, Gunfox61, the superstar sponsor of the day so far. Also, good morning to Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
Also, good morning to Willett Forge. Nice to see you. Good morning to Scotty Dubs and Richo, my friend from Down Under. That looks like all the people in the chat. If you're watching or lurking in the background, working in the background, driving, or anything like that, I am glad you're here listening too. I appreciate everyone who comes and sees who comes and watches the show. A Washington state government got a blank check to force all businesses to have to get jabs to stay open. They can kiss my big black ass. If I lived in Washington, you guys, they're nuts. This is insanity. It's insanity. I was on, as you know, I do go on Twitter occasionally, more than most. And someone, this is an interesting thread. So let's see, how did this start? Oh, Noam Chomsky yesterday decided to chime in on world affairs, as he often does. And I'm surprised he's still alive. Anyway, he said the right response to the unvaccinated, now Max wrote this in capital letters, is to insist that they be isolated from society. Go fuck yourself, Noam. Do you understand that a large number of the unvaccinated probably have already had COVID and just kind of like, we'll talk about Joe Rogan. probably just saying, you dumb motherfuckers. You don't seem to understand that this disease has been survived. 100 million people in the United States have survived having COVID. You only constantly hear about the numbers of those who died, but nobody talks about how many people survived it and the rate at which people are dying and why the demographics of the people who are dying. Often are demographics of people who probably were on their last legs anyway, for the most part. Now, granted, there are anecdotal cases of perfectly healthy 30-year-old. A perfectly healthy 30-year-old got it and ended up on a ventilator and died. Yes, there are some of those people. But overall, if you are under 60, more than 99.99% of you will survive COVID-19. It's a tragedy. Everyone who's died from it, for their family, for their friends, for people who loved them. But it's not a death sentence by any stretch of the imagination. And as one of those 100 million people who've survived, had it and survived, I'm getting tired of you assholes acting like it's a death sentence, that you must be shunned from society. It's just stupid. Good morning, Wikipedia snippet. You saw a fentanyl PSA to get into the stream. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I always wonder what the ads are that you get stuck watching on this channel. It's fascinating. Anyway, so in this thread, so someone was saying, Noam Chomsky's like, this is the kind of shit you see. Here's the thread, and I'm not going to listen to him. But, now someone here said, I don't understand something. How do unjabbed people harm the jab people? Jab people have a very small chance of hospitalization if infected, as per the stats. And as I understand it, the jab people can still transmit the virus. Sincere question here, help please. This number 2, so this person, 2 + 2 = 4, says vax people are much less likely to contract the disease. So as a group, they are less responsible for breeding mutations. So that's false. The mutations are breeding to overcome the vaccines. That's usually how mutations work. And those are the ones that flourish, people who get the original. Well, anyway. And then they said vaccines are based on stupid 19 spike proteins, antigenic determinants recognizable one's immune system. Stupid 19 viruses are not directly evolving against their own proteins. Meh. And then this says that if the proteins are based on COVID spike proteins, then the virus would not be evolving against its own proteins. That's what someone else says. And this person says, thank you for making one of my points for me. The virus is indeed doing no such thing. Various vaccines, each in their own way, exposes the patient's immune system to spike proteins. Goes there. But here's where they get to. Now, this is where I wanted to get to, though. This is because they try to be technical and shit. And then they gave me this graphic. So ideally, the secondary immune response will destroy every stupid 19 virus particle and the patient won't fall ill. False. We already know that they don't do that. We know from the scientists that use it, even the ones who are advocating it, know they don't destroy the stupid 19 particles. All they do is make you immune to the ones that are there. And they said if they do get sick, they'll likely get a less severe case with less likely hospitalization or death. The vaccines are delivering as advertised. Well, no, they're not, because they keep having to add more boosters. And then they put this graphic. After Delta became the most common variant, fully vaccinated people had a reduced risk of infection 5 times, hospitalization greater than 10 times, death greater than 10 times. Guess what? And people who've had the stupid, their risk is even less than people who have had the jabs. And that's an empirical fact with a case study of 500,000 people in Israel, Washington University, saying that's more lasting. The idea that and so I said here, well, same goes for people who've already had the virus, but more protection, longer lasting, and with B cell memory to reproduce or replace waning antibodies in the future. Vaccinations and forever boosters are a good substitute until you get the virus anyway, because you're probably going to get it anyway if you're relying on the mRNA so-called vaccines, which are not really vaccines, but that's what we're calling them. Okay, it's not going to go away, and so people who've had it already have actually better protection, longer lasting protection, and more protection against new variants, because your B cells already know how to produce the antibodies for the variant you had, and thus just changes, can adapt better. That's the science of it. And so I said, but once you've had the virus, a vaccine and booster should be optional, as they are mostly overkill unless you are severely immunocompromised. The one-size-fits-all strategy is counterintuitive, right? Tell me where I'm wrong here. So anyway, they concede, I hope you're right, but this novel coronavirus is novel. It's funny, because every new strain of a coronavirus is novel. That's why, SARS was a novel coronavirus. Duh. We don't know how long natural immunity lasts. A year, a decade, a lifetime? Only time will tell. Well, clearly it's lasting. First of all, it's lasting longer than the vaccines, the jabs, the Fauci juice, right? And most studies, except there's a few that don't, their conclusions they don't know. There's other studies that conclude that they would last much longer. And guess what? Because your B cells have a memory of producing the antibodies, even if your antibodies wane, as they do when you're using the jab or through natural acquired immunity, the B cells at least remember how to reproduce the antibodies. So which one's going to last longer? Having to take a booster over and over and over, or the B cells when you've already had it? Now, granted, do we want everyone to, that's the other reason thing. It's like, that's the other part where they are so intent on having children jabbed, right? But it's almost like it would almost make more sense, since children do not get severe cases. Not all, there are some, but at a lower rate than any flu. Wouldn't you rather have them just get it and have a mild case and have the antibodies and the B cell memory of how to produce the antibodies for the rest of their life? That's kind of normally how you do it, right? Unless they come up with an actual vaccine that has a weakened version of the virus in it. That's how vaccines normally are done. Okay, you have a weakened version of the disease, virus, whatever, within the vaccine, so that your body naturally produces antibodies and has the memory of producing those antibodies. But that's not what these mRNA, am I saying that right? That's what these Fauci juices are doing. They're doing a whole different way of doing it, which produces no memory in the B cells. So here's the good part though. If someone who has been jabbed has the Fauci juice and they get the virus, they have what is this there? 5 times less risk of infection. 10 times, more than 10 times risk of hospitalization. More than 10 times less risk of death. So you get the Fauci juice and then you still get the virus. Now your body will now learn how to fight that virus by developing antibodies for the virus, and that you'll get the B cell memory then. Now that is maybe a reason to be jabbed if you've never had the virus, if you don't have any trace of antibodies for this virus in your body. But that would be, then you'd have, because the one size fits all scenario doesn't make any sense. And in fact, my guess is, I don't know. Remember, the title of this show is I Don't Know Everything, because I don't know everything. But it seems, though, as though people who are having adverse reactions to the jab tend to people who've already had the virus. Just a thought. Anyway, thank you, GunFox61. I'm sorry I've taken me so long to get to your sponsorship, your donation through Streamlabs. I appreciate that. Who says, with a bullet, Marty, did the dog torture news set you off? FTG Falcon, I think that means Fauci. I think he calls Falcon. FTG Pedo Joe, Tom Wolfe, London County School Board, teachers unions, and other commie bastards. Well, yes, I am. Even get a second bell for that one. Yeah, the dog torture story. I guess the thing that makes me the maddest about the dog torture story is let me think about this. What pisses me off about the dog torture story is it takes that story to get people mad about Fauci, to get a bunch of bipartisan group of Congress people mad at Dr. Fauci. Not the fact that he lied his ass off in a Senate hearing about the NIH and NAIAD or whatever it is, NIAID, whatever, funding gain of function research, and he lied about that. He knew he lied about that. He knew what. They know what, because part of it was like, oh, they didn't, they told us late that this happened. Well, they told you before that hearing. I guarantee you that. You know what you were funding. You lied your ass off, and now the National Institute of Health is, trying to brush it off. It's crazy, and that's what pisses me off. Oh yeah, lying about the NIH funding gain of function research. Poo-poo. Oh no, torturing dogs. Oh no, everyone's up in arms. I mean, it sucks that they're torturing dogs, but his ass should have been fired during the AIDS epidemic. That's my opinion. I don't know how the fuck he's still around. He should have been gone years ago, 20 years ago. What do they call them? The yellow hats? Because that's how he got out of Vietnam, by going. Holy shit, he got out of Vietnam by joining the National Institute of Health. Woo, that's a great job if you can get it. Anyway, thank you. By the way, thank you, Somnambule Nation and Zach Osborne for tweeting out the show today. Greatly appreciate that. If you can, and if you think about it, if you're on social media, I'm at PDawgKnight. Pretty much everywhere you go. If you're on a social media, that's where I am. All right. Real quick, thank you, Baby Vazo, for sponsoring the show. Who says, with a little Shaq attack, the right is radicalizing me against my will. This fiasco with Candace and the Invade Australia thing, what did she expect? Is the right addicted to losing? They set themselves up to be misinterpreted and are surprised when they're taken out of context. What the hell? You know what, though? I'm sorry. She made it very clear when she said that she said it in jest. That is some quote mining bullshit. And you know what? You certainly can take anyone out of context in some point when they're talking and make up some bullshit. And this is just strictly a hit piece on Candace. And you know me, I'm not a fan of Candace. I think in general, she does things in the direction I like. I'm just not a fan of her. I don't have an overwhelming trust in her. Okay. She's Candace is about Candace, but I don't think she's necessarily wrong about the things she says. In this case, bullshit story. And everyone knows it's a bullshit story. In fact, she's not even trending anymore. Apparently Tim Scott's trending for some reason too. Is that because he was walking with Kirsten Sinema? Oh yeah, they trending because they were talking in the hallway. And because I don't know if you saw the video, but anyway, some lady decides to badger Kirsten Sinema as they're walking through the airport, and she's talking to Tim Scott as they're walking through. I guess they're traveling somewhere, and she apologized for the interruption of this dumb lady. Anyway, oh, by the way, thank you. By the way, again, thank you, Baby Vasa, for sponsoring the show today. Greatly appreciate it. Good morning to Brian Mattingly, Thomas Cleaver, Kapow, and Sean King's in the house. Not that Sean King, not Talcum X, not Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, not Thurgood Partial, not Professor Grift, but our Sean King, the Sean King that we trust and love. Also, good morning, Quippers United. By the way, I didn't get to say hi to you yesterday, even though I saw you in the chat. Welcome to the show. And also, good morning, Lord Stanhope. I'm sorry, but I think even if it was a joke, she knew that it would happen. It got her name in the news, which is all what she's all about. Well, that's certainly a possibility too. Hello, Willett Forge. Yeah, you might be right there, but I don't. Lord Stanhope, I'd like Candace to invade my house. No, you would not like Candace to invade your house. But I don't know. I don't know. By the way, good morning, Maddie. And thank you, Scotty Dubs, for sponsoring the show this morning with the YouTube Super Chat, who says, Cinema and Manchin got to switch parties next cycle. Boy, I tell you, that rumor came up. I know the rumor came up with Joe Manchin, and he quickly put that down. But I don't know. Cinema, again, see, I just find it hilarious that Kirsten Sinema is just so pissed off, has pissed off so many Democrats because she's a maverick. The maverick from Arizona. It used to be John McCain. He used to piss off the Republicans. I think they deserve to have a maverick over there on the Democratic side of the aisle, and I'm all for it. I gotta tell you, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. All right. Anyway, Jaeger Pony? I thought you were here earlier. Well, good morning to my favorite Canadian Jaeger Pony. I thought you were already here. You're saying, I don't know who you're saying. Oh, maybe you weren't here. I thought you were here earlier. Anyway, good morning to you too. 30 people in the house, 15 likes. Hit the like button sometime during the show. I'll remind you often. Also, you're the sponsors of the show, guys. You sponsor this. Sometimes I marvel at the fact that you sponsor this, but I appreciate it so much. You can please share the stream before, during, after the show, or you can sponsor the show through Streamlabs and the YouTube Super Chats and a couple other options down below. I appreciate all of you who do that on the regular. Thank you so much. I am humbled by that quite often. So, and as Richo says, bitch, slap that like button. Just pretend it's a government worker trying to enforce a jab on you. Slap away, purebloods. Now, Richo, not everyone here is unjabbed, unpure, or whatever you just said. I'm sure there's plenty of people here jabbed. I know Lady Boomer's jabbed. She had to get jabbed for work, and we're just like, we're not going to fight it. And plus, she believes in it, and we're not 100% sure if she's had the coof yet anyway. But Howler Butlick, what are we talking about? I agree. Conversation in the toilet was a real Loch Ness monster. That was crazy. They followed her into the bathroom. Granted, she got to do her business in the stall by her lonesome, but damn, following her bathroom, bitching at her while she's dropping a deuce. Not cool. All right. Enough about Kirsten Sinema's poop. Let's go into what else is trending here today on YouTube. Oh, good God. COVID news from Minnesota. That's my, what do you call it? Right. I don't know what it's called. Anyway. Yeah, Keith Boykin, who's, he tweets out, Arizona Senator Kirsten Sinema apologized to South Carolina Senator Tim Scott because a woman from Arizona tries to ask her a question in the airport. Well, yeah, she's badgering Kirsten Sinema while she and Tim Scott are having a conversation. So I'm sorry for the interruption. She's being harassed left and right, and I don't care. Anyway, thank you, Baby Vaso, for sponsoring the show again. I appreciate it. Who says left-wing normies are never going to get the retraction correction it likes. Come on, stop using hyperboles or references to small mustache guy. I'm at the point she is bad optics. So many Republicans I'm so done with. Why is it about only Abbott and DeSantis? Come on, dude. No, she does. I know she's. Are you still talking about Candace? Out of curiosity. No, she says some dumb shit. That's why I'm not Team Candace. I'm just saying. I know she says some dumb shit. That whole even though I knew what she was trying to say with that Hitler thing a couple of years ago, and she screwed that up, and she does. She has a tendency to have some hoof and mouth disease, and that's why I don't think she ever thinks things through. Although this particular case, again, her point, I kind of get. I mean, if you heard what she was talking about, so if you're not sure what she was talking about, she was talking about how the U.S. has just gotten out of Afghanistan and this and that, and talking about how we're supposed to be helping people who are stuck in totalitarian regimes, and right now Australia almost seems like a totalitarian regime, and but we're not. She was joking about invading Australia to save the Australian people from the authoritarian regime, and she immediately, the very next words out of her mouth was, obviously I'm kidding about that, and so any newspaper that reports that without saying that she was not serious is full of shit, and the paper that did it is full of shit. And now so people picked up on it, but it was so blatantly out of context that it's not even trending today, which actually surprises me, because usually well, here, let me see, is she in here? No. Tim Scott is. Hannah Gadsby is. Oh, good God. Oh, no. We got to. Okay, hang on. Because Hannah Gadsby, okay. You may or may not know who Hannah Gadsby is. But we're going to see what Chappelle says back to her. Thank you, Scotty Dubs, for sponsoring the show again. Who says, with a big bullet, who says jabbers are not to be trusted. We need to re-educate them. Well, oh, the jabbers versus the the jabbers versus the purebloods. I don't know, man. I don't want to get into that war, because there is value in the jab, but I don't think the one size fits all solution makes any fucking sense whatsoever. Oh boy. Anyway, so apparently Hannah Gadsby, do you know who that is? She's in theory a comedian, although she's very not funny in the least. Well, she said something about, she made some quip about Dave Chappelle, and apparently Dave Chappelle has released a video in response to her. Let's see, Chappelle's conditions for meeting Okay. Oh, shoot. Did I move it? Comedian Dave Chappelle releases a video in response to the controversy surrounding his Netflix special, The Closer. Oh, okay. So here's just a summary of what he said, basically. This is on Twitter. I'm going to get to some news today, I promise. Chappelle's condition for meeting with transgender community. First of all, you cannot come if you have not watched my special from beginning to end. You must come to a place of my choosing at a time of my choosing. And thirdly, you must admit that Hannah Gadsby is not funny. I kind of hit two buttons there at the same time. Yeah, Hannah Gadsby's not funny. So here, apparently, Hannah Gadsby said some shit about Dave Chappelle, bitching about him, and probably didn't watch the whole special. Probably just read that he said something that they didn't like and whatever. So, let's see. Oh, the case person on YouTube's in the house. Nice to see you. Welcome back. Nice to have you here. Why did I do that? That's not what I meant to do. All right. So should we figure out what's going on in the world a little bit here? Dave's crying. He's being canceled. Think, how much money do you have? He's not crying about being canceled. He's laughing about it. He thinks it's hilarious. I think he's hilarious. Just lefty being eaten by his own side. Yeah, kind of. But you know what? I don't know. It's hard to call him a lefty, even though he probably is. But you know what? He doesn't complain about being canceled. He knows. He's kind of like how Rogan treats things when people people supposedly are in the cancel, mode. Dave Chappelle's pretty much uncancelable. Cancelable. And he has fuck you money. So he doesn't care. They're going to pay him either way. Netflix is not breaking that contract. And the other thing is Netflix is fucked up anyway, but Netflix isn't interested in playing the game, I guess, because they specifically are not removing that special. They paid $20 million for that shit, and they're going to play it, and they're going to play the fuck out of it. Anyone who wants to watch it. I haven't watched it yet. By the way, if you've watched Dave Chappelle's special, throw one in the chat, because I have not watched it yet, but maybe I will sometime in the next couple of days, because I haven't seen it. Oh my God, this woman's crazy. Hannah Gadsby is hysterical. I used to think that about Dave Chappelle. There are people who think Hannah Gadsby is funny. Oh, she's depressing. She's fucking depressing. Some people needs to have their heads examined. Anyway, Kyle Rittenhouse is suddenly trending. What happened here? Let's find out. Self-defense is not only our right, it is our duty. Ronald Reagan. Oh, that's the Kyle Rittenhouse Defense Fund. Kyle Rittenhouse was clearly defending himself. This dude thinks Kyle Rittenhouse was defending himself. So people... Okay, Kyle, apparently Chris Loge is having a go back and forth. Watch actor explain how Alec Baldwin failed to follow basic gun safety on the set. That's a Federalist article. And someone here says, now do Rittenhouse. Baldwin wasn't being attacked. How is Rittenhouse analogous to Baldwin? It's not. Holy shit. I'm tired of this. Tired of this shit. Oh, you mad? Uh-oh. Rich, are you mad because we gave you Riley Dennis? Sorry. Oh, and you gave us Hannah Gadsby. Ooh. Yeah, I'd probably take Riley Dennis back. That's a tough one. Good morning. Colleen Bernier, what's happening? Nice to see you. I don't know if I've ever seen you in my chat before. I'm so happy to have you here. And also, good morning, Green Badger Outdoors. And somebody else showed up that I didn't see before. All right. Okay, why is Kyle Rittenhouse trending, though? Because someone's talking about how Kyle Rittenhouse acted in self-defense. Any verdict in his case stating the opposite will be dishonest. However, both Rittenhouse and his mother share responsibility for the deaths. No, they don't. Mad mother drove her mad young armed son to defend a city. Her mad young son, did you see him in the video of him? He seemed like a happy-go-lucky kid just there to help. And he was doing first aid for some of the assholes who were rioting. You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. Okay. Oh, I see. A Wisconsin judge laid out the final ground rules Monday on what evidence will be allowed when Kyle Rittenhouse goes on trial, ruling he'll permit testimony from the defense's use of force expert on how police welcome Rittenhouse and others carrying guns. Okay, this is the thread here. Or it was a thread. Here we go. Let's do this. This is from WKYC. Let's go through this. This is kind of breaking news. So we'll get this one up, and this will be in the tabs today. And then I am going to get to this other news because I got a lot of it that Gunfox has provided, and I don't want to leave. I always wanted to get to the stuff in the Discord so you can kind of get an idea what's there. Here we go. Judge sets final ground. What the fuck? Okay. Wisconsin judge is setting the final ground rules for what evidence will be allowed at Kyle Rittenhouse's trial next week. So let's see. When Kyle Rittenhouse goes on trial next week for shooting 3 people during a protest against police brutality. You know, again, that's slanting the news. Okay? That is slanting the news. Just by it, that when he, oh good God, ruling he'll permit testimony from defense's use of force expert and on how police welcomed Rittenhouse and others carrying guns during the demonstration. The hearing was likely the last before Rittenhouse goes on trial November 1st for the shootings during the chaotic demonstrations in Kenosha on August 25th, 2020, 2 days after the white. Okay, oh fuck. They don't have to tell us the race, color, whatever of the fucking participants in this. 2 days after a white,
you're fucking a white male,
police officer in that city shot a black man. Jacob Blake in the back while responding to a domestic disturbance. No, that is a lie. That's not when they shot Jacob Blake. Okay? They shot Jacob Blake after they responded to a domestic disturbance, and Jacob Blake fought with the police and went to get a knife and was getting into a car that did not belong to him, taking kids that did not belong to him, and the only way that it's been ruled by both the Wisconsin investigators and the Justice Department that it was a justifiable shooting. They didn't shoot him in the back while responding to a domestic disturbance. They had already responded to it, and they were trying to conclude it by arresting him. Fucking bullshit. Anyway, Rittenhouse, 18, of Antioch, Illinois, 8 miles from Kenosha, was among a number of people who responded to calls on social media to take up arms and come to Kenosha to respond to the protest. This is, wow. This is really bad and slanted writing. Did you see what they did there? Okay. Who responded to calls on social media to take up arms and come to Kenosha to respond to the protest? No, they weren't called to come to respond to the protest. They were asked to help protect people's property at the protest. That's a big difference. They didn't get called to come to respond to the protest. Good God. And again, listen, oh my God. Why does it matter if these people are white at this point? And you probably already know they're all white, but here it is. Rittenhouse, who is white.
You're fucking a white male!
Is charged with homicide and other crimes in the fatal shootings of Joseph Rosenbaum and Anthony Huber and the wounding of Gage Grosskreutz. Also all white. Well, at least it wasn't a racist murder. Rittenhouse's attorney want use of force expert John Black to testify that Rittenhouse acted in self-defense. Prosecutors have asked Judge Bruce Schroeder to block Black's testimony, arguing that jurors don't need an expert to understand what happened that night. They're flailing. They're flailing. Expert witnesses have been used forever in courtroom scenes. Anyway, Schroeder told attorneys that Black wouldn't be allowed to testify about what Rittenhouse was thinking when he pulled the trigger or whether he definitively acted in self-defense. Assistant District Attorney Thomas Binger said if Schroeder allowed Black to testify only about the timeline of events that night, he wouldn't call his own expert to the stand. Defense Attorney Mark Richards agreed to the deal. Binger asked Schroeder to bar a video that shows police telling Rittenhouse and other armed militia members on the streets that they appreciated their presence and tossing Rittenhouse a bottle of water. Why? Why would you want that to be taken off the record, not being shown? The prosecutor said the video would transform the trial into a referendum on police procedure that night when it isn't relevant. Now, let's see. Binger asked Schroeder. Who is Schroeder? Schroeder is, I get these guys mixed up. That's the judge. Okay. And Binger is, hang on. Is Binger the prosecuting attorney? Hang on here. Yeah, that's the prosecuting. So Binger doesn't want that in there either. Holy shit. This is a case about what the defendant did that night, Binger said. I'm concerned this will be turned into a trial about what law enforcement did or didn't do that night. Well, or what they couldn't do because of the damn riots. Defense attorney Corey Shirafisi argued the video shows that police felt Rittenhouse wasn't acting recklessly. Ding, that's why they want this out of the trial. Binger countered that the shootings happened after Rittenhouse interacted with the police, but Schroeder decided to allow the video. Good, because if a jury is being told if the defendant is walking down the sidewalk and doing what he claims he was hired to do, and police say, "Good thing you're here," is that something influencing the defendant and emboldening him in his behavior? That would be an argument of relevance, the judge said. Schroeder also denied Binger's request to bar the defense for referring to Rosenbaum, Huber, and Grosskreutz as rioters, looters, and arsonists. Well, it's good because Rosenbaum's the one who set the dumpster on fire that they had to put out, and then Rosenbaum was mad that Kyle had gotten the fire extinguisher for the guy to put the dumpster out on fire. It's all in video. I mean, I've watched all these videos. I don't know if they're still up on YouTube. I'm pretty sure they're in some other places. Anyway, the judge said those terms would be allowed if the defense can produce evidence showing that's what they were. And then, of course, the conservatives have pounced. This is obviously the way it's written. You can tell the slant of the paper. Many conservatives have flocked to support Rittenhouse, calling him a patriot and making him a symbol for gun rights and raising $2 million for his bail. I don't see. I don't know that they've made him who calls him I didn't even see that at all online. And I read a lot of different writings about this case. None of them are calling him a patriot, and none of them are making him a symbol for gun rights. Okay, and most people say, he's in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong things, but you know what, that doesn't change the fact that he's allowed to defend himself from attack. That's what I hear. I don't hear anyone calling him a patriot or making him a symbol for gun rights. No, he's not. That's a lie. He's found some nutcase, or not even a nutcase. He just found someone that happened to see it. Whatever. Anyway, others, including some liberals and activists, portray him as a domestic terrorist and say he made a volatile situation worse. Really? Good God. Anyway, so that's why Kyle Rittenhouse is trending. The judge has made some rulings on what can be and what can and cannot be allowed in the trial. What does Poole say? Tim Poole is just calling Kyle Rittenhouse the murderer, calling Kyle Rittenhouse the murderer he is upsets the right people. He's not a murderer, dickhead. You see, Kyle gets his ass kicked after assaulting a teen girl. He isn't so badass without a fucking gun, is he? Kyle Rittenhouse is a punk murderer. He inserted himself into a situation armed, looking to kill. Really? Why'd he wait so long then? If he was armed and looking to kill, why'd he wait? Why'd he do first aid on people who were out there protesting while he was waiting? What was he waiting for? Why did he just start shooting people if that's what he was there to do? Is that what he was there to do? Just come and shoot people? Did he shoot anyone that didn't attack him? That's another question. Did he shoot a single person who didn't attack him? That's a very important question. Someone else here. If you supported Kyle Rittenhouse for deliberately shooting people and now you mock Alec Baldwin for accidentally shooting people, your morals are as low as Donald Trump. Apples and front loader trucks or front loaders. Let's talk about two different completely different situations. Okay. Self-defense versus pointing a gun at someone who, but just not even trying to use gun safety. So apparently Rakita is going to talk about this at 11 p.m. tonight. That's Central Time. Pre-trial hearing watch party. This will likely be two-parter. We'll also have some comic relief here to break up the seriousness of the Kyle trial. So watch Rakita if you're into Rakita. Yeah, boy, all the lefties are just incensed. Yeah, this is still talking about the right makes a huge deal out of an accident, but treats murderer Kyle Rittenhouse like a hero. No one's treating him like a hero. He protected himself. He did what he did in self-defense. And it's funny because all these people have made up a story about why Kyle was there. It's funny. It's sad, but it's funny. If you watch the videos of what happened, you know exactly that it was self-defense, clearly. And jury is going to agree with that because there's evidence on video and eyewitnesses who saw what happened. So, F them. All right. Let's get into the other news today. And there's just a whole bunch of little clips here. Speaking of Alec Baldwin from, who's this from? This is New York Post. The woman who handled weapons on Alec Baldwin's set was nervous about her ability. The Hollywood armor who tended to the deadly weapon used by Alec Baldwin on the set of Rust has expressed doubts about her skills and ability to load prop guns. That was before this happened. I was really nervous about it at first. I almost didn't take the job because I wasn't sure if I was ready, but doing it, it went really smoothly, Hannah Reid said last month in the Voices of the West podcast. Reid, whose dad is a well-known Hollywood armorer, Thel Reid, made the podcast appearance while working on the set of Nicolas Cage's movie The Old Way. That production just weeks ago marked her first time as head armorer. She was working this past week with Baldwin on Rust in New Mexico when the longtime actor killed director of photography Halda Hutchins and wounded director Joel Souza using a prop weapon. There are no words to convey my shock and sadness, Baldwin said on social media after the deadly shooting. Loading prop guns was the scariest part of the process, Reid said, saying her dad helped show her how. Her father, Thel Reid, is a legendary armorer in Hollywood circles who got a start from Gene Autry, according to his IMDb profile. Yeah, this was only her second job. She was nervous, and I'm sorry, even a weapon that is supposed to have blanks in it, you don't point any weapons at anybody unless you're intending to shoot them. And apparently no one taught Alec Baldwin gun safety. That's what real gun safety is about. And it's completely unrelated to anything having to do with Kyle Rittenhouse, completely different situations. Sorry, jackasses on the internet. Moving on, this one from Fox News. Hello, what's your name? That's not Candace. That's what's her name? I can't remember her name. Anyway, concerned dads are patrolling high schools. Spate of fights suddenly end. People start going to class. So apparently at a Louisiana high school, there was these brawls that were constantly breaking out. So some Louisiana fathers are taking matters into their own hands after repeated violence, where 23 students were arrested over just a 3-day period. We're dads. We decided the best people who can take care of our kids are who? Are us, Father Michael Lafitte told CBS News. Lafitte launched a group called Dads on Duty, sparking 40 fathers to sign up and take shifts at Southwood High School in Shreveport to maintain a peaceful environment. Whoops. They couldn't access tweet, whatever. Violence ticked up at the school last month when repeated brawls resulted in 23 arrests over 3 days. 14 students were arrested on September 16th alone after 2 fights broke out, and the school's resource officer had to call backup from police. We had a fight at 9:30, Caddo Sheriff Steve Prater said at the time. I believe that there were 7 kids that were, I call them kids, that sounds innocent. 7 of these thugs were expelled and sent home. Damn. I wonder, you're going to get in trouble for that. Holy shit. The outlet noted there have been no incidents of violence since Dads on Duty launched in September. So, hey, getting some results. Dad volunteering at schools, and these fuckers don't start fighting. What is this? Is this...
Not many good news stories begin
Here we go.
in such a bad news way.
Here we go. Here's the story
it
from
happened
CBS
last
News.
month here at Southwood High School in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Plagued with violence.
Over the course of 3 days,
Another fight.
23 students arrested for fighting.
Massive police response.
God,
But strangely, there hasn't been another incident since. Perhaps in part because of this most unusual crisis intervention team.
Nobody here has a degree in school counseling. No. No majors in criminal justice.
No.
Your qualifications are?
Their qualifications are, we gonna beat their ass. That's what their qualifications are. Anyway, we already read the story. We're not gonna watch the whole view. I'm gonna move on. Anyway, the story, by the way, all these articles will be in the link in the second paragraph in the description down below for your reading and watching pleasure. If you want to watch the video clips or, use some of this for your own stuff, please feel free, because it's not mine anyway. Moving on, Joe Rogan, I spoke about him a little bit, calls CNN's Don Lemon a dumb motherfucker for doubling down on the horse dewormer narrative, because, Don Lemon is a dumb motherfucker. So here's Don Lemon's dumb ass. Here's how Don Lemon responded to Joe Rogan, talking about how these guys were lying about him, which is accurate.
But I know it's in large part a tongue-in-cheek interview, because it's Joe Rogan and you're jockeying back and forth.
No. It wasn't a tongue-in-cheek interview. Joe Rogan put Sanjay Gupta in his damn place like he should have.
He did say something about ivermectin that I think wasn't actually correct about CNN and lying, okay?
No, you are lying.
Ivermectin is a drug that is commonly used as a horse dewormer. So it is not a lie to say that the drug is used as a horse dewormer.
That's not what you said, though. You lying piece of shit, Don Lemon. You said he was taking horse dewormer. He was not. He was taking a human dosage version of ivermectin. Just like when you take an antihistamine, you're not taking dog antihistamine. Dumbass. Anyway.
I think that's important, and it is not approved for COVID. Correct?
That's right. That's correct. It is not approved for COVID, and you're right. I mean, the FDA even put out a statement saying, basically reminding people it was a strange sort of message from the FDA, but they said, you're not a horse, you're not a cow, stop taking this stuff.
Yeah, guess what? The FDA should be taken to task for saying that bullshit too, because that's not what people are taking. Fucking assholes.
Essentially what they said, referring to ivermectin. Now, I think what Joe's point
that
is...
It has been approved for humans, but not necessarily for COVID, right? Yeah.
So he's not taking. So he's taking a human version. He's not taking horse dewormer, dickhead.
Correct. It's been used for a parasitic disease, for something it's called river blindness, and it's been very effective for that. But, just because it works for one thing doesn't mean it works for something else. Right. And, there's still a few ongoing clinical trials around ivermectin. But for the most part, if you look at the data, there's no evidence that it really works here. When Joe got sick, he took ivermectin. He also took monoclonal antibodies, which is...
Okay, but he didn't take horse dewormer, which is something else. So anyway... podcast giant Joe Rogan held no punches towards CNN's Don Lemon after the anchor doubled down on his network's horse dewormer narrative. Last week, Rogan accused CNN of lying about his use of ivermectin during his recovery from Stupid 19, as the network repeatedly described the treatment as a horse dewormer and a livestock drug, despite its human form being prescribed to him by a doctor. Following Rogan's tense podcast sit-down with CNN chief medical correspondent Dr. Sanjay Gupta, who was forced to admit his colleagues should not have made such claims, Lemon was on the defensive. So we saw that. On Tuesday's installment of Joe Rogan's Experience, Rogan fired back at Lemon as well as his network. This is what's so funny about that. They don't understand that when they say things that are absolutely untrue, it diminishes their authority. They're not even aware of what they're doing, Rogan said. When Don Lemon goes on with Sanjay Gupta and says, actually, it really is a veterinary medicine. It really is horse dewormer. This was a lie. This was the lie. He goes, it's not a lie to say it's also used as horse medicine. But that's not what you said, guest Michael Malice said. You didn't say this drug, which is also used for horses. Of what relevance is that? It doesn't have any relevance, Rogan responded. Exactly what you're talking about with penicillin and with a gigantic number of medicines that also have veterinary applications. By doing that, you just prove my point. They don't even understand what they just did. You think no one's like, it's going to end with you because it used to be that way? They would say something and no one would have recourse. But when you're saying something and then the person you're saying it about has literally 10 times the audience you do, you dumb motherfucker. Do you know what you did? You proved my point. Yeah. Rogan has, well, I'm sure it's more than 10 times the audience. Doesn't he have like 20 million listeners of his podcast? And CNN doesn't even break 1 million any night on any show, at least lately. Anyway, yeah, because Don Lemon is a, say it with me, dumb motherfucker. Moving on. In Yahoo News today, Frontier Airlines pilot has been accused of secretly recording a Florist student with a spy camera, and he's been arrested. Good. He's been charged. He's with over allegations he recorded a 19-year-old Florida college student with a hidden spy camera hidden in her apartment, University Police said. Vernon Dwayne Kreider, a 55-year-old suspect, was accused of cutting a tiny hole in the woman's window to record her. According to WKMG, Kreider was arrested by University of Central Florida police after the camera was discovered by the student in the window of her apartment at the Point at Central Apartment Complex. According to the arrest affirmation obtained by the New York Post, the lens of the camera was facing her bedroom. The affirmation read, the victim believed an individual placed a spy camera outside her bedroom window in order to surreptitiously record her inside her bedroom, where she had a reasonable expectation of privacy. God, what a fuckhead. Anyway, police said the spy camera was recording for more than 2 hours before it was spotted, per the New York Post. Is that all? I mean, how did they find this? Anyway, and then the police said they learned the identity of Kreider after obtaining a SIM card installed from the recording device, which had a collection of photos of what appeared to be an airline cockpit and a hotel room, the New York Post reported. What the fuck? Go on the internet and go on the Christian Science Monitor or something. Why do you need to spy on some 19-year-old college student, you fucking freak? Anyway, Colombian drug lord O'Neal to be extradited to the U.S. This guy's probably the latest, most notorious drug lord in Colombia. Colombia's announced that the country's most wanted drug trafficker will be extradited to the U.S. after he was captured in a raid. Dario Antonio Asuga, known as O'Neal, was seized after a joint Army, Air Force, and police operation Saturday. He led the country's largest criminal gang and has been on the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency's most wanted list for years. U.S. officials placed a $5 million bounty on his head. They accused him of importing at least 73 metric tons of cocaine into the country between 2003 and 2014. This is wild because the drug lords kind of have the Colombian government and police and military by the balls, but apparently they got this guy. And so anyway, you can read the rest. How was he caught? Antonio was captured in his rural hideout in Antioquia province in northwestern Colombia, close to the border with Panama. The operation involved 500 soldiers supported by 22 helicopters. One police officer was killed in the raid. O'Neill had used a network of rural safe houses to move around and evade the authorities and did not use a phone, instead relying on couriers for communication. So he knows they can track them damn phones. Anyway, that's a big deal that they caught him. There's a whole bunch of, if you want to know more about him, it's in the story down farther into it. All right, let's move ahead. In Canada, there's an evacuations. There are evacuations happening as a ship spews toxic gas off the coast. This is not a good thing. 16 people have been evacuated from a burning container ship off the Canada's Pacific coast. The Zim Kingston ship is expelling toxic gas, but officials said there's no safety risk to people on land. The ship was en route to Vancouver when it caught fire late on Saturday. Response vessels spent the night cooling the exterior of the ship with water, but could not douse the flames directly because of the chemicals. CBS News reports the ship is on fire and expelling toxic gas. The Canadian Coast Guard said it added that 10 containers have been affected by the fire. Only 10 containers of all those containers? That's a lot of containers. Anyway, it says there's no safety risk to people on shore. However, the situation will continue to be monitored. So, let's see. The Coast Guard reported the ship was carrying more than 52,000 kilograms of chemicals located in 2 of the containers that are on fire. So, sorry, Canadians. If you're on the West Coast, stay out of the ocean, I guess, for now until they get that contained. Now, this is what's next after the release of Meng Wanzhou. By the time photographers captured the long embrace shared by Michael Korvig and his wife, Vina Najibullah, on the tarmac of Toronto's Pearson Airport 1 month ago, he had spent over 1,000 days in a concrete cell in China. It was an emotional reunion because, as Canadians knew, this is more Canadian news, by the way. Gotta have some Canadian news. It was no normal homecoming. Mr. Kovrig, along with fellow Canadian Michael Spavor, had become known worldwide as the two Michaels. The detentions under the claim that they were spies, which was denied by both, was widely seen as tit for tat by Beijing in response to Canada's arrest of a Chinese businesswoman at the request of U.S. authorities in December 2018. Meng Wanzhou was no ordinary executive, but the chief financial officer of Huawei, that the world's largest telecom equipment maker, and a poster child for the country's tech sector. She is also the daughter of the firm's founder, Ren Xiongfi, who was once a member of the Chinese People Liberation Army. So when the U.S. sought Ms. Meng's extradition from Canada over alleged sanctions violations, it sent shockwaves through China, especially among its business elites. A day before Mr. Kovrig's return, a deal with the U.S. prosecutors allowed Ms. Meng to leave Canada, and she returned home where, wearing a bright dress, she received a hero's welcome. If faith has a color, it must be Chinese red, she said. So anyway, there's a tale of two detentions. If you want to get in the idea or into the what's going on with the lady, this is a long story, and I'm going to skip it because I try to get to the other ones. But it's an interesting story, so I highly recommend you read it in the tabs. Oh, good Lord, how did I get rid of this? Here we go. All right, there was a bit of a. Why can't I get this off my screen? There we go. One of the world's deadliest snakes has been found in a shipping container sent from India. Why is this not? Here we go. There we go. This happened in, God damn it. Okay. For whatever reason, anyway, this happened in England, and there was a shipping container from India, and apparently a very deadly snake was found in the shipping container. And you'll have to find that one in the Discord because I accidentally, let me see if I can go back here, see if it'll let me go back. There we go. South Essex Wildlife Hospital received a call from a local British stonemasonry firm about a long bunch of ads on this damn USA Today bullshit. A long spotted snake they found in a shipping container from India. It turns out the snake is a saw-scaled viper, one of the deadliest snakes in the world. According to the South Essex Wildlife Hospital on Twitter, South Essex Wildlife Hospital is a wildlife rescue, treatment, and rehabilitation charity in the UK. Now, while most snakes are harmless to humans, the saw-scaled viper is a dramatic exception. It's dangerous because it's not native to us. It comes from India. They're highly venomous, and they're very, very aggressive, says Sue Schwar, founder of the hospital manager of the South Essex Wildlife Hospital. The saw-scaled viper is the smallest of the big four snakes, the four species of snakes that cause the most deaths annually worldwide, according to Animal Research Info, a resource created by a UK not-for-profit organization focused on humane animal research. So these are small, aggressive snakes, and they will come and bite your ass, and you will die in a very short period of time. And if you're bitten, the venom could kill you unless you get access to an antivenom. Even with the antivenom, the toxins in its bite break down our ability to form blood clots, causing many survivors to intensely bleed and lose their limbs. So we got to make sure we don't bring any more of those across any pond to any place that's not India. Moving on. Apparently there's legislation that would allow Pennsylvanians to sue big temp companies for censorship. Now, this is interesting. Two Pennsylvania state senators said recently they want to hold social media companies accountable for religious or political censorship. Senators Doug Mastriano and Senator Scott Hutchinson said their Senate Bill 604, also called the Social Media Accountability Act, would create a private right of action to allow residents to sue social media companies like Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter for banning or censoring their account due to sharing religious or political beliefs on the platform. A censored or banned user can seek up to $75,000 in statutory damages, attorney fees, and other forms of relief, the senator said. One of the bill's provisions requires social media companies to notify the user of why their account was banned or disabled within 30 days and offer a course of action for reinstatement. I guess in theory I like the idea of the bill. I don't know if that... this is a tough one because they have the rights through federal law to have whoever they want on their platforms and ban them for any reasons. But I get tired of seeing people get kicked off for stupid shit and not giving it a way to get back on. I don't know. You can get more details in the story there. Also from Yahoo News, a mom told Jeff Bezos that Amazon was underpaying her $90 a month, sparking an internal probe that found the company was shortchanging some workers, according to a report. It's a hit piece on Amazon, of course. An email sent to Jeff Bezos from it, and it may be true, by the way. I'm not so worried about it. I mean, it may be true, and Amazon should, fix what they're doing. But look, if they made some mistakes, I don't know. What? Americans always say, look how gay Australia is. Who's the real gay boys? USA has guns, and you still won't take down Fauci and shit. Think USA biggest pussies on the planet for living of their forefathers. Richo, make a sentence that I can read and make sense of. Anyway. There are motherfucking snakes in my motherfucking shipping container. Yeah, I'm telling you. Save that. All right. I don't even know what the truth is because I can't understand what your sentence is trying to say. So, but So try again, and then I'll figure out what you're trying to say there. I'm not getting it. As far as this goes, this is Amazon. So an email sent to Jeff Bezos from an Amazon worker. Now, it's funny. An email sent from an Amazon worker to Jeff Bezos. How did they get an email from just Bezos? What the bloody hell is this shit? Whoever you are. Oh, somebody! Thank you, Gun Fox. Thank you, moderator, for getting that shit off my screen. An email sent from. How they get this? This is obviously. Somebody leaked this. An email sent to Jeff Bezos from an Amazon worker who was on leave triggered an internal investigation that exposed flaws with an internal investigation. So they did their own investigation and found the flaws. An internal investigation that exposed flaws with the company's payroll system, the New York Times reported. Terry Jones, an Oklahoma Amazon warehouse worker, emailed Bezos in 2020 to tell him she was being underpaid $90 out of $540 she was supposed to get a month. The Times reported she had a newborn baby at the time. The Times said, "I'm behind on bills, all because the pay team messed up," Jones wrote in her email. She added, "I'm crying as I write this email." The Times interviewed Amazon staff and reviewed the internal documents that showed that Amazon subsequently discovered it was shortchanging some employees who were on leave, including medical and disability leave. The problem spanned at least a year and a half and potentially affected as many as 179 warehouses. An Amazon spokesman told the Times that the company is still in the process of identifying workers it had underpaid. So I guess, is the story here that they're fixing their problem? I'm not sure. Gamer Valine, I'm so happy to see you back. I was just thinking about you yesterday because I hadn't seen you in a while. Russia was on European front, not the Pacific. You're fucking welcome. Richo, put the bottle down and go to bed, princess. It is coming home from bar time for Richo. But, we love you, brother. Just, write a coherent sentence that I can read, please. So the story here is the lady said she was being underpaid. Amazon is investigating it, and they're going to fix the problem with whatever happened in their payroll. Well, good for Amazon. That's good that she could write an email to Jeff Bezos, and Jeff Bezos responded. That's the story, that an Amazon worker in a warehouse in bumfuck Egypt can write to Jeff Bezos, and they'll look into it and try to fix it. Sounds pretty good to me. I think I'd be proud to work for a company like that. Moving on. Now this one's bullshit. This came out of the Daily Beast. Judge rules James O'Keefe's Project Veritas is, quote, political spying. Really? A federal judge has dealt conservative figure James O'Keefe a legal blow, ruling that his group's undercover operations against a Democratic consulting firm can fairly be described at an upcoming $1 million trial as political spying. Making matters worse for the right-wing star, the judge cited O'Keefe's own book as evidence against him. In 2016, Allison Moss, an operative for O'Keefe's Project Veritas group, took an internship at Democratic firm Democracy Partners under a fake name. While staffers at the firm thought Moss was working to elect Democrats in a 2016 campaign, she was secretly recording them and relaying undercover video with notes on the group to Project Veritas. Project Veritas eventually released the video, prompting Democracy Partners founder Robert Creamer to step back from the Hillary Clinton campaign. Creamer and Democracy Partners sued Project Veritas in 2017 over the sting. Now, with a trial set for December, O'Keefe's lawyers wanted to preemptively prevent the plaintiff's lawyers from describing Project Veritas' work in court as political spying. In October 14th court opinion, U.S. District Judge Paul L. Friedman ruled it's reasonable to describe O'Keefe's actions in that way. Political spying is a fair characterization of the undisputed facts of this case, Friedman, a Bill Clinton appointee, wrote. Yes, a Clinton appointee And okay, did everyone catch the connection there? Anyway, O'Keefe's lawyers have argued that Project Veritas operates as journalists, an argument that would likely make it easier at trial for Project Veritas to claim their activities were protected under the First Amendment. But much of the evidence that Project Veritas operation could be called spying came from O'Keefe's own 2018 book, American Pravda, describing the Democracy Partner's sting. In his book, O'Keefe wrote that Moss worked under an assigned role and compared her to a spy working in the Soviet Union, literally living out her character in America's capital city, much as Americans overseas did in Moscow during the Cold War. Okay, look, oh my God. So, yes, if he described it that way in his book, but look, could you describe any journalist doing undercover work in any form of situation? Could you be calling that like a spy working in the Soviet Union? You could absolutely do that on anything. That's crazy. I hope a jury, whatever. As if to make the comparison between Moss and the notorious political spying operations clear, O'Keefe wrote in the book that Moss devised a way to hide her recording device from metal detectors and even compared Moss to the Watergate burglars. The last time operatives got caught stealthily entering a DNC headquarters, those headquarters were in the Watergate complex, O'Keefe wrote. Okay, so that means they would have to be, political spying means he would be having to work for a specific party, right? And he has a long record of doing journalistic stings. That's interesting. But that's a bad ruling for Project Veritas. Real quick, thank you, GunFox61, for continuing to sponsor the show. Saying, Marty, how long did it take you to go through all the news of Discord? It takes me forever. GunFox, it takes me a long time, but that's okay. And a lot of it I read, I skim it. Some I go, oh, this is a good one. But I appreciate you filling up the well almost on a daily basis. I greatly appreciate it. So thank you again. And thank you for continuing to sponsor the show. I appreciate that too. All right, I'm going to move just the last few here. Everyone knows this probably already. Joe Biden's approval rating is in the shitter. In fact, his approval ratings are worse than every recent president except one of the stages. This is a Chris Cillizza article. I wonder which one. If it's Chris Cillizza, Donald Trump. So roughly 9 months into his presidency, Joe Biden is on the verge of writing his name into the history books, not in a good way. The latest polling from Gallup pegs the president's approval rating at just 42%, the lowest of his term to date and the second lowest of any president Gallup has measured at this moment in their presidency over the last almost 5 decades. Here's a look at Biden's approval rating in comparison to his predecessors. 42%, 272 days in the presidency. Trump was at 37, 283 days. Now, why would they use a different day? Isn't this, oh my God. Oh, I see. Maybe that's when they did the polling. That's because, how in the hell, why would you use a different day? Did something happen at 271 days? But whatever. Cillizza was, because that's when they did the polling. Okay. Both Bushes were hugely high ratings at this stage of their presidency thanks to external events. Everything's, oh, good God, shut up. Everything's external events. And Trump was being had a drum beat by CNN. Russia, Russia, Russia. Oh, a little after, is this the after the fire version? Advocatus Diaboli? Oh my goodness. Project Veritas is not an operative. They have to be on a government actor's payroll, and they have zero evidence of that. Yeah, it's the idea that they're a political operative versus, obviously they've been doing nothing but, if they're a political operative, then you'd have to prove that even though they do things on the right side, they were acting on behalf of some political party or person. And that's going to be a tough one, other than to call them journalists. I think they have the First Amendment. It probably, if they lose, that's going to be appealed. It's interesting though. Isn't that a civil case? So I don't know how that works as far as the Constitution. Well, yeah, obviously the Constitution applies to civil cases anyway. Last couple of articles. Amnesty International is shutting their Hong Kong offices, giving national security law risks. International rights group Amnesty International said on October 25th it would close its Hong Kong offices because a China-imposed security law had now made it effectively impossible for rights groups to work freely without the risk of reprisals. In other words, China's clamping down. That's not a good thing, and that's all I'm going to read about that article. Good morning, Fight for Your Rights, and Haig. How are you? Also in China, they're starting to vaccinate children. Oh, by the way,
China is asshole.
China is starting to vaccinate children as young as 3 amid new surge of COVID-19 cases. Now, it's interesting because I was under the impression, and maybe you were too, that China had completely eradicated the stupid in China. But apparently there are, I haven't seen on Worldometer that they're showing a whole lot of new cases, but apparently there is a surge of cases in China. Because remember when was it last year that during New Year and China made a big deal about showing the people partying in China for the New Year and kind of throwing in everyone else in the world's face that they were doing so well. And in Wuhan they completely eradicated the 19 apparently, even though they've had thousands and thousands of burial urns all over the city, but they didn't. They only had a few people die, and they didn't have anyone. It ended. Well, apparently they are now having a surge, and they're trying to vaccinate chillins, and I don't know how effective that's going to be, and why again. I don't know if they have a surge of cases where chillins are getting it and dying, but they're vaccinating everybody in China, and boy, it'll be interesting to see, because I don't know if they're using if their vaccine is an mRNA or not. I don't think it is. I think it's more of a traditional vaccine they're using in China. But good luck. Good luck, China. We don't want to see any more suffering even there. And then also the last one here, U.S. seeks to help Taiwan participate in the UN system as Beijing set to mark key anniversary. The United States and Taiwan on October 22nd held high-level meeting on expanding the island's participation in the United Nations and other international organizations. Okay, let me just stop this. We already know that, and I'll leave the article up for you to read, but we already know that the United Nations is afraid of China, just like the World Health Organization is afraid of China. And they couldn't even mention Taiwan in that phone call with the professor. They were having the live back and forth with the professor on the internet, and the professor, the woman asked about Taiwan, and the professor acted like he had never heard of Taiwan, and acted like the Taiwan didn't exist, and didn't care about their responses to disease and whatnot, and because they're afraid of China. And, the other day, Joe Biden's like, oh, yes, we will surely defend Taiwan. And then his staff on Twitter said, no, well, we're not. The president was speaking, out of turn. Oh, wait a minute. He's the president. He can say what the fuck he wants, and you don't get to explain it, but they try to explain it away. And yes,
China is asshole.
You are correct, Tig. Anyway, I got to call it a day because I'm already going to be late here. But, ladies and gentlemen, those articles and more will be in the tab in the description down below this video. So if you want to get more in-depth coverage or in-depth reading on some of the things we touched on during the second half of the show, which was just news, again, all these articles will be there. It'll be a single tab that you click it, and then all the articles are listed, and you have links to each one on one single webpage. That will be in the second paragraph just below here. Devil Fruit Zero, how you doing? And you can find it there. And on that note, before you do anything, click the like button if you haven't already done so. Thank you for being here today. And you can share the stream before, during, and after the stream. And if you're watching on replay, please say hi in the chats, in the comment section, so that I know that you were here, and I'll appreciate that. And finally, if you want to be a sponsor of the show, there's several ways you can do it during the show or not during the show. All that information is in the description down below. That's it for today, people. And Richo, man up, pussies. Okay, dude. I'm not gonna finish. Hey, thank you all for being here. Time for me to go. My name is Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.